What's going on, gurus? My name is Nick, and we are back here in the new year to continue the content that we were giving you last year, all about SOAR. Now, I know that we took a break during the holidays, which does remind me happy holidays to all, whether that be Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, or any other holiday you might be celebrating over the last 2 months. Just wanted to say happy holidays from us to you. And now that we are back, though, we are planning on getting you that content on a more steady basis, just like we were last year. With that being said, let's go ahead and get back to it. All right. So, what we're going to be focusing on today is going to be soft failing apps and integrations. Now, what I mean by that is say you've got an integration that you're running and it fails. Now, you can have it fail and give you this error up here, or you can have it do something else instead of giving you that error. And what I mean by that is I created a quick playbook that I'm going to run here. You can see it right here. This is going to be a playbook that's just going to do a simple ping command. Now, it's going to use that the artifact value. So whatever I'm going to be using for that artifact, which will be an IP here because that's the way that I set this up. But the way that this works is actually this local command is not going to work because ping is not actually set up for it. So when I come in here to my incident here, and I actually come down and find an IP address that I want to run a ping on just to see if it's there, I can run that ping command down here. But what's going to happen when I scroll back up to the top, you can see I've got my playbook running, but in just a second, it's going to fail and we're going to get an error in here. See, we just had that error happen. Now we can actually check the progress here. We can see that this ping ran, it errored out. If I actually open this up, I can see I got this error message down here saying that the ping command is not configured. So instead of having it just error out, what we can actually do, and keep in mind that I'm doing this on something that I know is purposefully going to fail. But of course, you can do this on something that you're not sure if it's going to fail or not. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to be using a app config setting that will actually allow us to capture those errors and actually report those back through the playbook. So if we come out here to our app config advanced configuration settings knowledge book, and I'll go ahead and post the link for this down in the description below. But if we scroll all the way down to all of our available options, we're going to see this one here called trap exception. Now, the trap exception, what this allows you to do is actually it allows you to specify whether the playbook or function will actually stop when the app raises an exception. So obviously, setting this to true means that we are going to not stop that. We're going to trap that exception, pull that in as a result. And by default, it is set to false, which is going to throw that error for us. So if I jump into my app here, I've got my network utilities already installed, but I need to jump into my app.config here, come down to my settings, and under the resilient section down here, this is where you're going to deploy this in any of the apps that you want to do this in, or all of the apps within your environment. You can do this on all of them. You're going to come down here, and I've got it commented out right now, but we will remove that comment. And now I'm going to grab that trap exception and set it to true. Once we get that set down in the resilient section, we'll go ahead and save and complete. You can see that this is going to go ahead and restart for me. And then now what I can do is actually jump back into my incident and I can test that again and we can see what those results are going to be. Now, while this redeploys here, we'll jump into my ping and we'll see what was my actual command results parser going to do here. So if I open this up here, we can see that it's just going to grab the results and then it's going to output the results as a incident note. So that way we can see what the actual results are, whether it's a true or whether it's successfully closed or not. Looks like we're ready for use again. So let's jump back over here and we can scroll down and again find an IP, run that ping command, And now we've got two running. We've got two in error. When this finishes, there we go, it finished. We still have one running, but we still only have two in error. Instead of it erroring out, we went ahead and posted that note. So if we jump out here to the note section, we can see it actually posts the dictionary results back to my incident here as a note. And we can see that success is now equal to false. Now, in some of the pre-pro or post-process scripts or some of the sample playbook scripts that you may have seen something where they said, if success, then do something else, do something else. And that's because of the fact that it's looking for the success equals true. And if this equals false, then it would do whatever that else path is. But if you're not using the trap exception, it's probably never run that else command for you because it's never going to capture that false output there. So that's why now that we've done this and we've gotten the trap exception working, we can go back to my playbook here. We can jump back into my script, which will actually allow me to quickly make an adjustment here where now I'm saying if the results.success, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that the ping was successful. Otherwise, I'm going to say that it's going to create a note with whatever the results reason is, letting me know why the fail happened. So once we save this, we can save it up here as well. Now this playbook's ready to run again. Let's go ahead and run it again off of that IP address. So I can run this ping command here. Now, again, this is going to show that two things are running up here and two things are in error. When this finishes, we'll have one thing running and two things in error still. There you go. So it did not error out on me again. Now, if we jump over to my notes section, you can see that it left a note with just the actual reason of why it failed, which is that same reason that we see down here when it failed the first time. So now that we've got this, just think about what we can potentially do from here. Um, a lot of times, the system administrators maybe they want to receive an email whenever an integration fails. So what we can do is instead of just seeing a an error within our playbook menu or seeing a error within the incident down here, maybe that's not enough. Maybe we want to actually see the error in some kind of notification sent to the user. Let's say an email. I'm going to go ahead and disable this one. And we're actually going to jump over to using another playbook that I've got built here, which is going to be my playbook with alert. Now, what this one's doing is it's doing the same thing, except for I tossed a decision point in here. What the decision point is actually going to do is down here, we're going to be running a quick check on if the function was successful or not. And the way that I did this was I created this condition here and I did a script builder condition. And this is going to be when it's true. But I'm going to set my result to equal whatever the playbook function results command output dot success equals. And that's going to be that true or false if it was successful or if it failed. Once we get that information here, then what we can actually do is we can define that if it is true, then it's going to take this true path. So if it's true, if it's successfully completed, then what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, we're going to parse it out. Now, in this script, instead of doing the success true or false in here, we already know that this path is going to be successful. So now we can just do what do we want it to do if it's successful. That's what I've got defined here. Otherwise, if it fails, what we can do now is this decision point will allow me to come over here and I can actually do an outbound email. So what I did here was I created a template email that's going to get sent out. It's going to go to my managers, which is going to be my simulation for my sys managers. And what we're going to do here is we're going to send them an email notification. Scroll down here. This is a template, so there's a lot of content in here. But here on line 344, we have that we are going to inform them that the ping command was unable to run the incident due to, and then I've got a fill in there. What I'm filling in is actually that reason. What's the reason that it failed? So now what we can do is, now that we've seen this and looked this over, now let's go ahead and run this. We're gonna have to jump back in here because I just disabled and re-enabled them. We'll give it a quick refresh so that we show the right playbook this time. Now what we can do is we'll jump over into my artifacts. I can come down and run, oops, come down to my artifact that is, and run my ping with alert. And again, we're going to check up here. It's going to run two things. We're going to have two errors. And in just a second, when these finish, we'll actually be able to see that email. All right. So we saw that that finished. Now, instead of it posting a note, so instead of jumping over here and seeing a new note, now what we're going to see is actually jump over here and do a refresh here where our managers actually received an email letting us know what incident name. We can see that there. We can also see the incident ID here. And we can also see the message here letting them know that the ping command was unable to run due to a problem. That problem being ping command is not actually configured. All right. So now with that being shown here on how we can actually use that, the sky's the limit at this point. You can send, so we already showed you the previous video that we published, which I'll post up here in the top right. That one was actually going to show how we can send a push notification using that open source system that's out there. So we could do a push notification. We could do the email like this. We can do maybe if the function fails, maybe we run a different function and we do something else. But this starts to show you how you can start to actually get a little bit more complicated with, instead of just taking those errors and throwing an error on the screen like that. Now we can take those errors and use those to perform some other action. And with all that said, now we've shown the basic possibilities of soft failing apps along with the advanced possibilities that you can make out of them. Important to keep in mind that that trap exception will need to be put into all of your app.configs, or at least any of them that you're trying to do this on. But with that set, it will give you the power to make many more decisions within your playbooks instead of just getting that error. I hope this helps you in designing your advanced playbooks and as you continue to build out your automations. If this video was beneficial to you, I ask that you give me a thumbs up and even give me a click on that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel. And if it was not, or you have additional needs, please just drop me a comment down below. We're always looking for new videos and additional content that we can make. So drop that down below. And if it's something that warrants a video, we will go ahead and do just that. And with that said, I will see you gurus next time.